Welcome, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, and I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we're on each and every week. Thank you for tuning in. We bring to you some information that concerns buying and selling real estate right here in the Valley. You live here, I live here, great place to live, although prices have been going up steadily for many years, and we're looking at a summer whereby we probably have an inventory of 3.5 months, which means it's still a seller's market. But buyers do have the opportunity to negotiate and get some concessions in certain situations. There are areas inside the city as well as Henderson and Summerlin and some places up in North Las Vegas, which are still terrific opportunities for you to get in. Now let's talk a little bit about a different type of market. The flipper market is saturated. Why do I say that? About 5 years ago, when the flipping market was really still not in 100% high gear, and we're talking about 2014, 2015, what we were seeing was a lot of people still trying to climb up and over where we were in the equity in your house, meaning that a lot of people were underwater and the banks were still holding a lot of that shadow inventory, meaning that you couldn't get a hold of the shadow inventory, and those people that were still in trouble were dragging prices down and scaring investors off. Well, about 5 years ago, that flipped, and it became a terrific market to be able to buy something at a low price and sell it at a higher price. That has been going on steadily throughout the Valley for the last 5 years. We're now in a situation whereby margins have thinned, i.e., what you used to be able to guarantee as a $50,000 margin is now more like a $20,000 to $25,000 margin, which for a lot of investors is not good enough, especially if you're in the wholesale area where you're buying and then selling to a flipper. That's called wholesale. Those opportunities are still out there, but they're harder to find. The deals are harder to get a hold of. So why is this happening, and why is it happening now, and what's going to happen in the future? The real estate rates, i.e. for your loan, are pretty good, and they've been falling. There's a reason for that, but in terms of what's happening here in the Valley, if you have rising real estate prices and a shrinking margin in the flipper zone, it's really good that we have low interest rates. You can get a 30-year fixed rate right now for about 3.875%. That is smoking. That's where it was 18 months ago, before rates started to be going up and before the Fed decided, yes, we're going to raise rates. Now, there's a lot going on in the economy nationally, but here locally, the economy is pretty good. Construction is up. We're going to talk to a guy in commercial later on in the show, and he's going to talk to us about what's going on in the construction business, why prices have risen, where is all the outside investment coming from. I personally know a lot of it's coming from California, where those buyers, those people coming into Las Vegas are feeding into the lack thereof of qualified workers to build homes, i.e. what happened in 2008, 9, and 10 scared the heck out of most people in the business, and they never recovered. And what I mean by recovered is they never hired back those particular workers at the same rate, at the same number that they were back in the booming, in 2003, 4, and 5, as you all know. We were building so many houses and rolling construction crews through. That's not happening right now. So we have a slowed real estate development market in the residential sector. And as we all know, on the commercial side, especially in warehouse and some other things that Ron will speak to, that's Ron Mendocino, and Ron is a terrific commercial broker. He's been on the show several times. He will describe to you the reasons some of this commercial has not really caught up with the current demand, as neither has residential. There's a lot of things going on in the Valley right now, but as always, we're here for you. I'm Jeff Barton, your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
Successful Strategies International offers state-of-the-art PMP certification in an entire curriculum of project management, risk management, portfolio and program management by using unique learning techniques such as online learning, simulations, and facilitator lead programs. Our clientele consists of some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in existence. SSI has trainers all across North America, Europe, and Asia to help meet your project management needs. Learn more at ssi-learn.com. That's ssi-learn.com.
Ruthless Cowboys, keeping the American dream alive and creating jobs one t-shirt at a time. From fabric to design, Ruthless Cowboys makes 100% American-made apparel that hardworking Americans are proud to wear. At RuthlessCowboys.com, you can shop for shirts and accessories for the cowboy or cowgirl in your life. Head to RuthlessCowboys.com, check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching Ruthless Cowboys. Ruthless Cowboys, we're all about family, country, and keeping it all American. RuthlessCowboys.com.
Are you experiencing hair loss? We have the solution with no drugs, no surgery, and no side effects. Experience 100% pain-free results with Super Grow Laser Cap System, featuring 272 professional-grade lasers that make your hair thicker and fuller naturally. Use it 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and notice your hair growth in as little as 3 months. Visit online at irevivelaser.com to order your Super Grow Laser Cap today and experience unbelievable results. irevivelaser.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. Thanks for tuning in. We're on each and every week, and we bring to you some information about what's going on in the Valley, what's going on both residentially and commercially. We always have guests on the show who can help us really understand the ins and outs of those two specific markets. With us today, again, is Ron Mendocino, Mendocino Properties. Hi, Ron. How are you?
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so give us a bit of an overview of what's happening currently this summer, 2019, here in the Valley commercially.
You know, we have been what many would describe as a hot market. There's certainly a lot of interest. I would say that incredible amount of interest from investors escaping California.
Yeah.
To come to the more favorable investment client in Las Vegas.
How do you handle that when you get a certain group of people influx here as opposed to locally grown? What's the difference in the two?
The folks from California, a tremendous amount of them are exchanges when they sell their properties.
I see.
So we've had the opportunity to do a considerable amount of cash transactions, which are the easiest, of course.
Yes, of course.
But what's happened, and it's been a little bit distressing, and I would track it for the past year, such high investor interest in town that the cap rates or the returns kept dropping and dropping. So 7% return a year ago was very common, but over the past year it dropped down to 6% cap rate. If you wanted to buy a premium property, for example, a McDonald's or a Burger King, those are 4 and 4.5%,
Right.
which aren't a big interest to investors.
No.
But I've observed in the last 4 months so far, some have crept up again. So now there are some 7% returns, 7.5% cap rates available.
Okay, so this return is cash on cash, right? You're cash in
Correct.
versus, getting a loan and things like this.
Exactly. Some people have the strength where they can get a loan at a great rate, but we don't talk about leverage, just cash on cash, income minus expenses, here's your return.
Okay, opportunities in town. Now, this is a big city. Lots of different places. This studio's in a particular neighborhood. There are other neighborhoods, whether it's in Henderson or in Summerlin or even in the heart of Las Vegas. Where would you say is a great opportunity, or is it building by building, area by area?
It's submarkets are very strong. The southwest part of town is burgeoning and it's growing. All of a sudden apartments are springing up.
Right.
But the land cost, because of the Raider Stadium,
Right.
in the southwest has been enormous.
Give us an example.
For example, we have looked at perhaps $1 million an acre
Wow.
in the southwest, which is really pricey, and that's not even with improvements in the streets.
Right,
and
that's
so
raw
forth.
dirt.
And that has, so apartment builders have wanted to take care of the growing population, but now they're going to have to go to 5-story apartments instead of 3 because the high rises have led the way. People have gotten accustomed to that.
I thought there was an ordinance or some restrictions on the height of most of these buildings, especially in Southwest.
As long as they're in the airport environ.
I see.
But construction dictates, you can do 5 stories, but that's about as far as you can go because then the construction changes.
Right.
Over 5 stories, it's built like in a skyscraper. You have to go structural steel,
Right.
and it gets too expensive. So they put in elevators, and 5-story is happening. But the rent has gone, typically on a new apartment, is $1,500, $1,600 a month,
Right.
which has put a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah, it is. You know, the rents here, when I first got out here in 2004, were like $600, right?
Yeah.
So you come all the way forward 15 years later, and 1,600 is what you're getting. That's pretty good rent.
It's really pricey.
Yeah, right.
And they talk on TV about the average income and so forth. I'm not quite convinced that the average income is $60,000, $70,000 per household.
Well, that's an average income for who? I'm a teacher?
They say on TV,
a contract worker?
The economists, the newscasters.
Oh, I see.
But of course, it doesn't reach that level.
No, I don't think so either. I think the average nationwide is around $30,000. So how the average here could be 70 is beyond me.
When they talk about poverty level and average income and middle class, they're talking about $60,000 a year. I just don't think that happens here.
No, and how do you raise a family or buy a house on $60,000 a year here in this market with average prices in residential real estate at $250,000, $260,000?
I have two very successful children who are middle-aged, I hate to say, but I'll tell you right now, I couldn't raise kids today. The electronics, they have to have computers, $190 shoes. I'm really out of touch with that.
Now, the buildings that they're building on the apartment side, which is a lot of outside investment, a lot of investment even from Canada coming here and building larger scale apartments and apartments for rent.
They're trying to. We have pretty good, we have some local developers really lead the way.
Oh, great.
Zoning and all that type of thing. But the other markets, really, warehousing has become an issue because they can't stand the continually increased rent. And that is becoming problematic because I would say even a year ago, the average rent in a decent warehouse situation would be at 75 cents a foot.
Right.
And now, including CAM charges, it's up to $1, $1.20.
That's big. When you're talking a 100,000 square foot building, that's a lot of extra expense.
Oh, it's getting very, very expensive.
Right.
And it relates to the land cost and the absorption in the last 5 years. And even office buildings have become, the vacancy has dropped considerably.
Well, I have an office myself. It's with Regis Office. It's down at Town Center. They raised my rent by 30% this year. 30%.
There you go, just what I'm speaking of.
Yeah, and that's because of the supply and demand, obviously.
Yep.
Where do you see it going? This year, maybe a little beyond.
Well, what's really misleading, quite frankly, we are not a big city. We are feeding and clothing and marketing to 40 million people coming into town. But where warehouses in Southern California, they abound. You go on, and they're all over the place, and it's very competitive. But here, there's limited land supply and limited product.
Right.
And when the market crashed like 10 years ago, we still talk about it, but there were 5 years with no loans available in the commercial arena. So absorption has been taking place, and just now they're building more stuff, but because of land costs, it's all very, very pricey.
You brought up a loan, commercial loans, different than residential, obviously. There are corporations who borrow the money. What type of loan terms and where are you suggesting your clients go?
Basically, we have the key banks is still mostly bank. A lot of our transactions, the little guys are all doing SBA loans.
Okay.
So that's still semi-reasonable, 6.5%
Right.
Perhaps will hit. But on the commercial arena, they're still very cautious.
Right.
Because of the transient nature of many of the businesses. So it's not really simple. Development land, apartment builders the home builders are really easily getting funded.
Oh, I see.
Because that's strong. And the average house, by the way, it appears to me, if you go to a new home situation, they say from $300,000 on up, but by the time you do the options, and option is a very careless term because sometimes they require it, it's going to be $400,000 to move in a 2,400 square foot home now.
Right, and most of that development from land to construction is being done where?
Well, we're in trouble in the construction trades right now. You can't get a contractor to do a small deal.
Oh, I see.
They're all so busy. We are labor poor, believe it or not, right now. And so the prices are really, really high.
Do you think that the market came back for the labor force after the recession 10 years ago. My understanding and feeling is that they haven't really brought in the number of workers that they need, and they haven't really trained up the number of people that they need. And companies don't want to hire more because they're still a little snake bitten from
Well,
10 years ago.
You're absolutely right on target with that. The labor force, which is really weird, when the market crashed and no one was doing building of any kind, there was like an exodus.
Right, that's right.
And then they went to deal with hurricanes and with bad weather in Texas and so forth, so
Right.
they left. And now we're back to seeing Arizona, Southern California trucks with equipment on them and so forth.
Right.
Now they're coming back where the work is,
I see.
but not enough.
Ron, thank you for coming on the show. Once again, giving us a great update on what's going on in the Valley, and especially in commercial.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm Jeff Barton, your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll be right back.
Successful Strategies International offers state-of-the-art PMP certification in an entire curriculum of project management, risk management, portfolio and program management by using unique learning techniques such as online learning, simulations, and facilitator lead programs. Our clientele consists of some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in existence. SSI has trainers all across North America, Europe, and Asia to help meet your project management needs. Learn more at ssi-learn.com. That's ssi-learn.com.
Ruthless Cowboys, keeping the American dream alive and creating jobs one t-shirt at a time. From fabric to design, Ruthless Cowboys makes 100% American-made apparel that hardworking Americans are proud to wear. At RuthlessCowboys.com, you can shop for shirts and accessories for the cowboy or cowgirl in your life. Head to RuthlessCowboys.com, check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching Ruthless Cowboys. Ruthless Cowboys, we're all about family, country, and keeping it all American. RuthlessCowboys.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. Thanks for tuning in. We're on each and every week, and what we do on the show is to bring you information if you're a buyer, if you're a seller, if you're an investor, if you're somebody who's just looking to understand what happens in real estate transactions, what happens in the business, how do people talk about what goes on, that and many other things that have to do with financing of the property. Yeah, that's what we talk about each and every week. And I am very happy to once again have on the show Terrell Robinson, Big Tex from WealthWave. Hi.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful, man. Absolutely wonderful. It's cool outside. I'm loving it, and thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay. You have gone from when I first met you to today in building people's wealth, retirement, and their ability to see beyond, I guess, the next paycheck. To
Correct.
be able to say, hey, look, you're making $30,000, $40,000. Let's take a part of what you have and work out a plan so that by the time you're 60, 65, you're not going to have to worry about your retirement.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your experiences thus far in helping people realize that dream.
Okay. Well, the experience actually has been wonderful because the first thing is you have to practice what you preach. So one of the first things that I did was I took an account for 30 days of every receipt my wife and myself spent. And I wanted to see where our money was going. So the same thing I do with our clients. Experience as of yesterday, a young lady, she's 74 years old, and she's literally living paycheck to paycheck, but come to find out, she had 2 cell phone carriers that she was paying $100 a month, that if she drops one, now she's paying $30 a month. She was paying for a car that she hasn't driven in 2 years, car note and insurance that she hasn't driven in 2 years. So certain things like that, to where if the person is not able to go and earn more money, or if they just don't even want to go earn more money, where can we find to where we can save money? Or I like to say, increase more cash flow into your monthly pockets. So it's been an absolute wonderful experience, because now it's a puzzle. I have to go find these pieces to where, hey, can you cut back on going out to eat at the buffet? Instead of 3 times a month, can you do it once a month? Or can you do it twice a month? And it's going to save you this much money over the year. I like to give them the yearly picture. $50 a year, that's $600. That's $50 a month, that's $60 a year. They see that big picture and they're like, wow, that is a pretty decent sized savings right there.
You know, it's funny. When I first, I guess this is back in New York, a long, long time ago, writing down the specific way to write it down, getting it on paper, is a real exercise in self-restraint in terms of spending money. Because
Absolutely.
once you see what you're spending your money on,
Oh, yeah.
and in those days it was 20 cents for a newspaper. Yes, I wrote down 20 cents.
Right.
It was 15 cents for a cup of coffee. Yes, I wrote down
Right.
the 15 cents.
Right.
But when you're only making, $100, $200 a week, that
Right.
really adds up.
It adds up.
And it really, it's an eye-opener for people to take an active participation in understanding how they spend money.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is very important. I always recommend people to write it down so you can see it, and now it becomes live. Now it's live. So put it on your mirror, wherever the places that you're going to be at in the house every day. I even have mine set up to where on my cell phone, so my bills are warned 24 hours prior. Hey, XYZ is due tomorrow.
Right.
So I have even reminders to let me know that this is what you have to do, so you can't go out and spend frivolously because of the fact that, hey, the car insurance is due tomorrow. So I can't go take the wife out to the steak dinner, whatever the case may be. But so it's just keeping yourself in check and accountable if you want to be able to attain, because I plan on, and here's the thing, I plan on living 20, 30 years after I retire.
Right.
So I take into account of everything that I'm going to need up until that retirement. So don't just look at, I need $1,000 a month to retire. Look at the grand scheme of things. For example, if you know your family history runs about 25 years after retirement, that's what you need to take account of your financial number. So if your number is $1 million, how did you get to that $1 million? For me, I'm different from everyone else. I said when I retire, I want to be able to spend $20,000 per vacation 4 times a year.
Right.
That's $80,000 a year. $80,000 a year in 20 years is $1.6 million.
Right.
So that's part of my retirement I need to have set aside.
That's a great way to look at it because it's practical. It's easy for people to understand. Let's get into products. Recommendation of things that you've had currently with clients that you're talking to about not only retirement, but also making some money for today.
Right, right. So now, in regards to products-wise, I would recommend, first things first is going into, if you are someone that is new, that don't trust anyone to even deal with your finances except for yourself, open up your Roth IRA. And the reason I say Roth IRA is after-tax dollars, so when you do go into retirement, look, 20, 30 years from now, 10, 15 years from now, taxes will be higher. So do you want to pay 25, 30% on $100,000, or would you like to not pay any taxes
That's
on
right.
$100,000? Make sure that you have a separate savings account that you're paying yourself. I don't care if you make $30,000 a year or $20,000 a year. For every dollar that comes in, pay yourself 5 cents.
Right.
And then once you stop missing the 5 cents, give yourself a raise. Pay yourself 10 cents. Automate that into an account that you know it's going to give you a minimum interest. Capital One 360, Allied 2.5%. So
That's a good point. The interest rate on savings accounts have really risen. Not
Yes,
a
it
lot,
has.
but they have
Right.
risen. And you can get online banking accounts with interest rates of
yeah.
3.5%.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's the thing. And put it in and automate it, because if you self-fulfill it, there's going to be a month. Do I really want to put the $100 in this month?
Right,
I
right.
really want to go do X, Y, Z. So you put it on auto draft. It activates your discipline. Now you have a system in place, your discipline is in place, and you will hit the target that you're shooting for.
Why don't people be more disciplined about their money? What is the issue with that?
Instant gratification.
I
Absolutely, instant gratification. Just call. I remember getting out of college, and buddies going to go play professional football, and I had a delayed gratification, and my brother too as well. But a lot of our buddies went out and bought brand new cars, and then when they got cut, they were getting those vehicles repossessed. But they wanted to have that brand new car so we can drive back to our hometowns, show everybody we got the new car.
I'm successful. Look at me. Yeah.
Exactly. So even myself and my brother, I didn't even purchase a home. I didn't purchase a home until years after, when I was probably like 26, 27, when I bought my first home in 2003. So 16 years ago.
Right.
So, but it's the instant gratification to show, hey, I made it. I've actually made it. And guess what? People, there's going to be so many people that are jealous of you, and all you're doing is causing attention to yourself. So why not just be on the down low? And I'd rather make it in my bank account than having a Rolex watch or a nice vehicle or whatever the case may be. And I can say that because I've been on both sides of the fence, and I'm speaking from experience.
Right, and in your previous life, being a professional football player, you probably ran into a lot of people who blew through their money very quickly.
Oh yeah.
And
most of them are broke.
Yeah, and I think that's true with a lot of industries, not just athletes.
Right.
I think people who make it big young have a difficult time managing money just because they don't understand they can all go away very quickly.
Right, absolutely. First big mistake is allowing someone else to manage your money.
Right.
And what I mean by that, giving them power of attorney to actually manage your money. I've seen athletes do it from basketball to hockey.
Yep.
What you want to do is, if you have a financial advisor, you force that financial advisor to teach you what it is that he knows. Not that you're trying to take his job, not that you're trying to manage your own money, but you want to oversee and you want to actually back up and correct or just fact check what he's doing.
Okay, you're in the business, right? You're in financial planning, and this is what you do every day. Right. When people come to you, do they interview you? What do they ask you?
Yeah, well, I get asked all the time, hey, will you be handling my money when it comes to wire transfers? How much money do I have to pay you in regards to fees? It's more of, will I be really more in control of their money?
Right.
And I let them know. No, I make sure that, hey, I'm the middleman, the go-between. So if I get you set up with Nationwide or Transamerica, you know them more than you know big techs.
Right.
So they're going to be the person that's going to be handling everything, and you know it's secured. In the event, the only thing that I can do is make a call in a request to make some changes to your finances, but I put myself in a position to where I'll never be able to accept a wire transfer to my personal account.
Excellent. Tex, thanks very much for coming
Absolutely.
on the show. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That's a big Tex from WealthWave. And I'm Jeff Barton, your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll see you next time.